Hello, today I'm sharing some products and brands I really regret not trying sooner. I use these and love these regularly, and at the time I thought I had good reason for holding out, but I really should have tried these way before I did. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, and let's get into these products that I should have tried a long time ago. Everything I'm talking about today is makeup except for this first product, which is skincare. Now, some of you who've been watching me for a while may or may not know, depending on which videos you've watched, that I double cleanse every night before I go to bed. I use either a cleansing balm or a cleansing oil followed by my regular cleanser just to make sure every trace of makeup is off of my face, off of my eyes. Throughout the years, I've had so many of you ask me why I've never talked about Elemis, specifically their cleansing balms. My answer to that would be that I just had other cleansing balms that I was using and that I had to try, and I just never did. Well, I finally tried them and I see what all the fuss is about, and I do have a favorite version, which is their new fragrance-free version, and I'm here partnering with Elemis today to share more details on the Pro Collagen Naked Cleansing Balm. So just like with any cleansing balm, I massage this onto my dry skin, and it feels like it kind of softens my skin almost immediately at this point when it's in this balm consistency. It transforms into an oil which deeply cleans the skin to effectively remove the impurities and the makeup that I've worn that day, even waterproof makeup. Then when I activate it with water, it starts to transform into this hydrating cleansing milk, and then you can remove it with the included washcloth that's included with all of their balms, or you can use your hands, whatever your preference is. And the beautiful thing about this is that it's fragrance free, so if you're sensitive to fragrance, it's perfect for you, and it's been ophthalmologically tested, and so it's safe for those of you with sensitive eyes that really want something that's effective. It's great for all skin types because it doesn't strip the skin, but it also doesn't leave a residue or a film that's hard to rinse off with water or that you can still feel on your skin. So if you have dry skin, I think this would be also great to use in the morning, because I know a lot of you don't like to use traditional cleansers because you find them stripping. So this would be a great option to use in the morning to cleanse and refresh and wake up your skin. What you're seeing me rinse this off with is the Pro Collagen Energizing Marine Cleanser. Also great for any skin type. I find this balances my skin really nicely, especially this time of year when the season is changing and my dry areas can get a little bit drier, but I don't want to exacerbate the shine, the oil on my face. It's just been really nice to help balance my skin. It's also got this amazing, refreshing aquatic scent that's really subtle. It's not overpowering, and it's also not artificial. Elemis sources natural ingredients, and so the fragrance you're getting is not an artificial fragrance. Now I understand why you wanted me to try these balms out so badly, and I'm so glad that they have a naked version now, because so many people are averse to scent at all or find it really overpowering. And Elemis is just known for being a results-driven premium skincare brand that gives products that show results yet make you feel good, that give you that good sensory experience as well, and I feel like this fits in nicely with that. You can save 20% on your Elemis purchase with the code StephanieMGlow through November 30th. I'll have links to these products as well as everything else in the video down below in the description box. I heard people raving about Makeup by Mario products for a while, and I just held out. I guess I thought it was all hype. I don't know, but at the beginning of the summer, I think maybe, I purchased several products, and all that has done is piqued my curiosity even more about the brand, because every single product that I purchased, I love. So the blush that I have on today is this one in the shade Desert Rose. This formula is to die for. It's so flattering. It lasts all day. It doesn't deposit too much pigment, so it builds really nicely. And the shades are all lovely. I have the stick blush in the shade Coral, and I love that there's a little brush on the end here if you like to use a brush. And I have the stick bronzer in the shade Medium. This is the bronzer that I applied today. You can apply this directly to the face and blend it out with a brush. You can dip your brush or your sponge in it and apply it to the face. It's just so easy to apply, and it, like all of the products, have such great longevity, and they're also flattering even to those of us with maturing skin. I am in my mid-40s. I'm always looking for something that is going to last during the day, apply easily, flatter my skin, which leads me to the highlighter. I have it in the shade Pearl. Now I have to hold mine like this because there's a crack in it, and this one crack did not shatter the product. You can still kind of press into it. I already had on a highlighter today, and I did apply this on on top of it to show you the extra effect that it gives without looking over the top. This is my iPhone camera footage, so I'm hoping you can actually see what it does. But if you're like me and you love that perfect champagne shade, Pearl is great for that. It's also very flattering. So if you want highlight, but you don't want to emphasize texture in this area, this is a great formula. I have the powder bronzer as well, and it's just as good as all of these other products. This is a brand that I am just so sorry that I waited so long, because his products are some of the most reach for products that I use on a daily basis. And when I was putting together this video, these immediately came to mind. I just can't believe that these weren't in my life as long as they were. I know from my comments that a lot of you are very similar to me and that you can't stand it when your lips feel dry. So you tend to stay away from lipsticks that have the word matte in them because they tend to be a little bit more drying than a creamy formula. So for a long time, I stayed away from Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk because it's her Matte Revolution formula. It's not her Kissing formula, which is the formulation that I prefer because it's very creamy and nourishing, and it also lasts a decent amount of time for a bullet lipstick. And I've tried other Matte Revolution shades and I didn't find them to be super drying, but they just weren't as creamy as I normally like. I also thought this might be a little bit too pink for me, not enough of a nude pink. I would see it look different on different people, I mean, which is pretty normal. I don't know what pushed me over the edge, what made me finally cave and try it. I mean, it is a super hyped lipstick. I guess I just needed to do my due diligence as a beauty YouTuber and get this much acclaimed lipstick. So it is what I'm wearing today. I don't think it's too pinky. I also don't think that it's emphasizing any of my vertical lip lines that some matte formulas can do. So if I add a little bit more on top, since I've been talking and drinking water for a while now, I wanted you to just see what it looked like when it was freshly applied, even though it looked great a while ago. I mean, I think it did, at least in person. The longevity is really nice, and I don't find this to be uncomfortable at all. And I realize why this is a cult classic, why people love this so much. I'm sorry that I waited so long to get it because I do think it's a great universal neutral shade. It's a great job interview shade, a great bridal shade. It's also something I think that can work across so many different skin tones and really be flattering. And I'm sorry that I waited so long. And it kind of makes me a little bit sorry that I haven't tried more Matte Revolution formulas, because I got the shade Catwalking, one of her newer launches, her newer releases, and it's a pretty creamy matte formula too. I've really been enjoying it as well. So if you've been like me and you haven't been purchasing this for the same reason, you just thought it was going to be unflattering, it's super drying, you may be surprised. Every time I went past the Catrice display in my local Ulta, they never had a good shade selection of the True Skin Hydrating Foundation. And so I just kind of wrote it off. I heard it was a good foundation, but I've been disappointed by so many foundations that people claimed were good, but that just weren't good for me, that I just had to wonder if I really needed to try this, if it was really necessary. I finally decided to try it. The shade that I have is 20 Warm Beige. It's a little bit light, but it works pretty well. Now I'll link you to my foundation roundup up here in the card as well as down below, so you can check out my full detailed review after you watch the rest of this video, of course. I am so glad that I tried this because it is such a beautiful skin-like foundation that actually gives a decent amount of coverage that I think works beautifully for all skin types. It never picks up on my dry areas. It doesn't make my shiny areas greasy during the day. It sits beautifully on my skin, my pores. It wears beautifully throughout the day. I just remember being amazed at how great it covered while looking so natural. I'm always amazed when a foundation can really pull that off well, and I can't believe I waited so long to try this. Now, the drawback to this is just finding it anywhere. I probably will have to have like 3 or 4 different links for you to source it down below to give you a decent shade variety. It's just so hard to find, but it's beautiful. It really is. I shouldn't have waited so long. I shouldn't have sat on this. It's good. You guys, once again, were right. I have a couple of reasons why I didn't buy the Huda Beauty, there's a long name for this, Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. Number one, I wasn't sure what shade I would get because it's a tinted powder. It's not a truly translucent powder, and I prefer translucent powder to set my makeup. I was a little nervous about going too dark and changing the color of everything that I had already applied to my face when I set my makeup. Number two, it's a baking powder. I don't bake my face. I mean, the instructions are even on the bottom of the package here. It says pack under the eye, T-zone, corners of the mouth and chin, let set/bake for 3 to 5 minutes and dust away the excess. If you have mature skin or you have any texture, that can be a disaster. Even if I didn't bake with it, I just thought this was going to be the kind of powder that was really only good for 20-something-year-old skin. And number three, I have so many setting powders that I love. I thought, why do I need to add this one into the mix? I, again, cannot recall what made me cave on this, but I finally decided to try it, and it is turning out to be one of my favorite powders to use. So it's got this little mesh insert. Some people really like that and some people don't. I have on a pretty good foundation today, and I have already set my face. I'm wondering if you're even going to be able to see a difference with me just touching up with it. It looks really natural on the skin, but it does practically blur out and make your pores invisible, and it just kind of evens out the skin. I think if you got a tinted version and just wanted to use that for a little bit of coverage, you could do that. It gets a little bit warm under all these lights, so sometimes I'll touch up with powder during videos. I'll need to. Things start to settle in the pores and not look so good. I feel like I can see a difference with what I just did. I'm having a weird shadowy thing going on, but I feel like you can still see that. I would say if you are someone that is like me and maybe you were a little bit apprehensive because you thought would only work for the younger set, it's really flattering. It's flattering both under the eyes and on my face. It doesn't accentuate the texture, the fine lines. It also controls my shine a pretty decent amount of time, and it blurs pores. There are powders out there that set the face nicely, but they don't really do anything for the pores. That's usually what we use foundation for. This kind of enhances that feature of some foundations that already do that well, or it will really help if you're having a bad pore day. I mean, I don't know, am I the only one that has bad pore days? I do. I'm sorry I waited so long to get this. I think it's a fantastic powder. Oh, by the way, the shade that I have is Pound Cake. It's light enough to where I could set with it. It brightens a little bit. It doesn't pale me out, but it also doesn't oxidize my foundations, my concealers that I've applied underneath it. I finally put up a new vlog. I'll have that here for you, as well as my most recent makeup dupes video. I know a lot of you really enjoy those. I'd love to hear any products that you held out on that you really wish you hadn't in the comments down below. I hope you found this helpful and enjoyable. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.